What is it with the Beatles? Has anyone noticed that the quality of their solo careers is directly inverse of the length of their life? You know, John Lennon released some amazing music in like the 10 years after he left the Beatles. He was the first one gone. George Harrison, some brilliant pop tunes. He's the next one. Paul McCartney's been trying to rewrite Yesterday for what, maybe 50 years now? All I'm saying is, as much as I love the guy, I think Ringo Starr's going to outlive us all. And that's even if you include Thomas the Tank Engine as solo work.
Hey, it's LJ and welcome to another episode of LJ Reacts. For those of you who've only just stumbled across this YouTube channel, this is literally just me reacting to pop culture events that I've missed. Mostly going through my 20s and my 30s, but sometimes I go a bit further back, sometimes I go a bit closer to the modern time. You can, of course, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Don't forget, because if you share it, someone else may see it and they may enjoy it and they may share it, and that grows the community, which encourages me to do more of these, which means you get more contact, which if you're sharing it, you obviously like it enough, so everyone wins. You can, of course, if you like my videos, you can, of course, like my pages. You've got my link tree, which has all my live dates, as well as all my projects that I am currently in some degree of production with, and of course, if you've got some spare change rattling around the account, chuck it in the jar. I'm not asking for much, just whatever you can afford, just to show that you appreciate the effort I do try and put into some of these. And with all the admin out of the way, we're going to skip forward, and I'm going to talk about what I'm going to be watching today. I am going to be doing today a band that sounds very much like the greatest band in the world, at least according to the two front guys. The Gallagher brothers seemed under the impression that Oasis was the greatest band in the world. I'm not saying they're biased, but even some Oasis fans will sort of look at them and go, oh, you're in a bit of a unique club there, lads. But still, they are not who I'm talking about today. I am talking about one of the most famous bands on the planet. Throughout most of the 60s to, I believe it was early 1970, they were, four of the most famous people in the world. Weird to think about. A group of amazing musicians and Ringo Starr. That may sound a bit harsh, but I don't know. You compare Ringo to the rest of them, there's a bit of a discrepancy here. There's a reason that he was the main vocalist on Octopus's Garden. Paul sort of took one look at that and was like, oh, no, I can't put my name to this. So I'm going to be talking about the Beatles. Usually this bit I sort of go into like some Wikipedia bit about what the band are, but you must know of them at least. Four guys from Liverpool, three of whom cut their teeth on the music scene in Germany before being excommunicated, sent back to the United Kingdom, where they switched up the lineup, brought in Ringo, and became the biggest thing ever. They one of the few bands at the time who wrote their own music. No one did that. Elvis was famously sort of said, I know nothing about this industry, and that's probably why I'm so successful at it. So there was something special, there's something unique. They captured there was something counterculture about them, which is weird sort of looking back now when they seem so middle of the road, but that's just how times have changed. Of course, they made it huge here, 1963. They timed it just right to sort of try and break America. Yeah, just after they'd sadly lost Kennedy, with releasing the first track they released was "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and yeah, the Americans took to them very, very quickly. It became the start of what's known as British invasion. From there, they toured for a while till John and Paul just got tired of all the girls screaming and no one being there for the music. So they spent 5 years releasing music and not touring it, only to discover that the only thing keeping them, in good stead with each other was constantly being on the road with each other. And then, of course, you got the infamous Scene on the Roof, brilliantly parodied by The Simpsons with B Sharps. In fact, a lot of the episode parodies of Beatles stuff. And that was it. Yoko Ono was in there somewhere, but most of that, if you actually read accounts of people who were there at the time, was just the Beatles playing it up. The one who didn't play on the Ballad of John and Yoko was famously George Harrison. The one guy who was like the cool guy, the laid-back one. Yeah, one thing the Beatles were fantastic at outside of their music and their drug taking. Come on, guys. Yellow Submarine, really, was just their ability to sort of plant a narrative and make it work. There are still people to this day who think Paul McCartney died in a car accident in 1965. So, I've probably missed out quite a lot, like the death of Brian Epstein, and yeah. But like I said, you know the gist. As a young guy growing up in my house, Mum was massive Beatles fan. She's like a favourite band in the world. So I remember playing Sgt. Pepper's a lot on repeat. It's like one of the sort of first CDs we got when we got a CD player in the early 90s, and it was just, yeah. So it's like the album I probably know best. I love it. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. Yeah. So, moving on. For those of you who haven't seen the news, a new Beatles track's been released. I mean, it's only been 50 years? 1970, 2023. But yeah, so in the 70s, John Lennon recorded the vocals to a track he was sort of working on. For all the negatives about him, there's one thing you can say about John Lennon, and that is when it comes to a certain type of song like that, I'm not sure the best way to describe it, not quite ballady, but you go through like Legend Lennon, all those songs, it's a certain type of song, Imagine, of course, being the first one. Not so, I don't want to say messagey, but a lot deeper than just your standard pop music. That's what he did best, and he's one of the best of all time at that sort of music. But yeah, he sort of recorded the vocals to this song. After he died, it sort of ended up in the hands of the rest of the Beatles, and in the mid-90s they sort of, tried building a song around it. Unfortunately, cassette technology in the 70s apparently not good enough, because they just sort of listened to it and like, it's not fair to John to release it in this state. And so it's kind of just sat kind of in limbo for a while, until recently, where they've taken some AI technology to sort of try and get the vocal track, try and clean it up as best they can, and they've sort of they had George's sort of contributions from back in the 90s. They've sort of got that played in, and Paul and Ringo have done their parts, and so here we are. We've got a brand new Beatles track. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Actually, I just, like I said, I sort of grew up just with them being such a constant thing in my life. I just recently, this is just currently looking for a place to hang this bad boy. But yeah, so all I can say is, yeah, let's get this on. Let's see what they're offering. Okay, here we go. The Beatles, Now and Then. Oh, in all the talk about the Beatles themselves, I forgot to mention the person who put this video together. Lord of the Rings guy, Peter Jackson, known for Lord of the Rings, King Kong, and some really uniquely done B-movie horror films prior to that. So it's only 4 minutes 35, which, you know, given his post Lord of the Rings stuff, is let's see how he condenses his epic sort of filmmaking. Okay, they're actually doing the video off the recording, which means that you can actually, so the tape they put in there is if not the original, is the tape, is Lennon's vocals. So is that George Harrison? Is this actually footage from the 90s? That looks brilliant for old 90s footage, if that is George Harrison.
It's all because of you. And if I make it through, it's all because of you. And now and then, if we must start again, well, we will know for sure that I will love you.
Oh, that moment there, that's just taking me back to the, just some of the brilliant Beatles songs. It seems to be sort of a bit slow, sort of picking up, but boom, they've hit it right on the head just there. It's like it's taken that minute just to click back into their prime.
Now and then, I miss you. Oh, now and then, I want you to be there for me, always to return to me. I know it's true.
this is this is great. I remember a few years ago watching, I think it was, I can't remember if it was a director's commentary, just like a deleted scene from Back to the Future 2, and they were sort of saying how, you know, it recently sort of, the technology to be able to have like multiple Marty McFly's on the screen, they'd sort of gotten to a point where they're like, yes, we can do this and it will not look awful. And so that's why so many of the characters in the Back to the Future sequels are played by Michael J. Fox, because they're like, we can do this and it can not, and it won't look awful. So yeah, I'm just sort of having flashbacks to that now, just sort of seeing, like, you know, the Beatles from the prime, and, you know, the Beatles in the 90s doing this, and the modern and the remaining modern Beatles just sort of being mixed in just seamlessly. Yeah.
I miss you. Oh, now and then. I want you to be there.
Nice little bit of Eleanor Rigby sort of throwback, just with like with all the strings. I love that they're taking apart Ringo's drum set as he's playing it. It doesn't seem to change a thing. It's almost as if they're in on the Ringo jokes that everyone cracks, which I think, well, to be fair, Ringo is as well. And it's one of the few times where that sort of setup works. If there is a joke where you are the butt of it and you are somehow in on the joke, it does kind of take it away. Most notably seen recently when Jared Leto put up a tweet of himself reading the Morbius 2 It's Morbin Time scripts. No, the world was making fun of the film because, not just because of you, but because of everything about it. You getting in on the joke kind of takes it away, but no. The Beatles being in on the Ringo thing, it still makes it work. Wow, that was beautiful. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna mull this over for a minute, and we'll be back with some final thoughts.
Now and then.
That was awesome. That was. So, obviously, it's a couple of days since it's been released, so I've seen a couple of people mention it on Facebook, and I found it kind of odd. One of my mates, who's quite a big music guy, he said, that he's always loved sort of John Lennon's voice, and it was just amazing to sort of just have like a fresh sample of it just in his life again. And I was just sort of looking at it thinking, John Lennon, the third best vocalist of the Beatles, really? But hearing it there, yeah, no, I get it. There is just when he was such, a major part of me sort of getting into the music I'm into. Yeah, there is just something so reassuring about just having that voice back in your life, even if it's. That's the thing with like mass media nowadays. There are just so many. You have all like these big stars, and they just in your life so much through like streaming or just whether it be film stars or music stars or reality stars or whoever. You just watch them on such a loop. You feel you know them so well, and it's just that they become almost as big a part of your life as the rest of your family. I can't think who it was who said it, but there was a couple of I think it was comedians who were talking, and one said was getting irritated with people asking him at dinner for autographs, and the other guy sort of looked at him and said, well, you're not seeing it from their side. They're so familiar with you, they think they know you. It seems odd to them that you can't recognise that in them, which is the sort of path I'm sort of trying to go down. Like I said, the Beatles were just so much a part of me growing up that I feel I feel I do sort of know them a lot, even if it's mostly just through hearing all their music so much. It felt like they put so much of their soul into it. I felt, so yeah, hearing them all together again, it's such like a refreshing thing. It's like going home, but it's not the modern day. It's the 90s home, like it's me going home in the 90s. This is, as a song, it is a really good Beatles song actually. I don't really know how you can do Tears with like Beatles songs. It's because they're so varied in sort of style and the quality's high in pretty much all of them. There's a few notable exceptions. I went off of it on Octopus's Garden, but it's not an awful song. It's just not up to the standard of a lot of their other stuff. I mean, there is other best, even like the White Album, which people are like, oh, it's a perfect album. There's a couple of tracks on there that, in isolation, are a bit rope. Well, not in isolation. In the context of the rest of the album, seem a bit ropey. But with the nostalgia goggle, it's put the nostalgia goggles on me, so I just can't see through that at the minute. I don't think I'll ever do a 10 out of 10 rating on here, so it's not going to be that high, but that's I gotta give it at least an 8.5 out of 10. The production was amazing. There was just moments where I sort of looked at like the guy they brought in, sort of being George Harrison. The young George Harrison. I sort of looked at him and was like, oh, not George Harrison, the young John Lennon even, I sort of looked at and gone, well, they've got a pretty good look like there. It's like, no, that's just 60s footage that they've managed to sync up with modern footage and it not look out of place. The way that aspect ratios and just the upgrade to digital, it changes picture quality. You know, the difference between shooting on like film and shooting on tape, it's quite noticeable. If you watch like some of the old like BBC sitcoms, they used, I can't think whether it was film or tape, which way around it was, but one was used for like internal shots and one used for external shots. It's very noticeable, especially like 1780s stuff. But the fact that they've managed to sort of, I don't know if that's part of what the AI was doing, but they managed to sort of track it so the quality of like the old footage doesn't stand out in the new footage. I mean, you look carefully, the deposits are kind of obvious, but yeah, it took me a second looking at that. Yeah, so like I said, it's an 8.5 out of 10. I feel I've got to listen to this just a few more times. Yeah. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. Don't forget, if you like this reaction, don't forget like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, let people know. Like the socials, check the link tree, put some money in the tip jar. That's the sound of someone who viewed all the videos, didn't put the money in the tip jar. Yeah, he's facing a firing squad right now. I don't think this is obviously not the best time of night to return this, but well, whatever. So yeah, I do these every Monday and Thursday is usually when they go up, sometimes a little later depending on what my schedule is doing. But yeah, don't forget, check back on those days, or check back on the Tuesday and the Friday, because they will definitely be up by that point. There's a lot of new stuff lately that I was planning on doing reactions to. Got a few requests as well. So I will be doing reactions to, well, I'll be doing reactions to some of that stuff over the next few weeks, hopefully. Yeah, any suggestions, feel free to chuck in the comments below. They are all on a list, and I am going to slowly work through them. When they'll crop up, you've got to subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to find out. So yeah, I'm going for a slightly more bottom band next time, if nothing changes last minute. So till then, I've been LJ. It's been emotional. That's going to be my way just there, isn't it? Come on. How could I say the wrong name in a thing I do twice a week?